Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here. We are back for episode 23 of The Rise. That is 23 episodes, one a month-ish. That means we've been playing for almost 2 years, guys. This is a almost 2-year-long campaign. This one's called Beautiful Nightmares. So, if you like what we do here and you want to support this channel, the best way to do that is over on our Patreon down below. Like these fine people, you'll also gain access to all kinds of behind-the-scenes secret prep streams, as well as the after shows where we talk about what happened in these games. While you're down there, clicking on that Patreon link, join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. But always, as always, in the bottom right-hand corner is the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, I unleash terrible horrors on our players. And two, every dollar that goes into that bar goes back to the channel to do things like hire someone to do my job for me, or hire someone on social media, or make TikToks for us. I don't know. But it helps to do that. It helps to pay other people do cool things. That being said, previously on The Rise. After a chance encounter with an old friend, Antares found herself at a tavern for much-needed libations, where she instead found Mina and Wexy having a tense conversation. Seydlitz sought the counsel of Korax, finding him recovering from mental anguish in the castle's library. Apparently, 3 new gods had ascended. Korax urged his allies to dig deep in their understanding of what made them who they are in an effort to force their ascension, but to no avail. The camera cuts down the darkened streets of Samora. The sun has set on one half of Avi's road, the other side in perpetual shadow under the eyes of Nod. We make our way to a relatively well-established guard caravan barracks, in which we see various guards in various states of undress as they enter their barracks for the final turn-in of the night. Armor hanging on walls, javelins and spears ensconced in their places. And we see on one of the beds, Mina. In his hand is a small scroll case. Mina, what are you doing?
Mina's had a tough night. He's questioning a lot of the things his mother told him. And then on the way home, he had a super random encounter with a weird old guy that gave him this glass tube for helping him move his cart. So to distract himself, he is going to open the tube and look at what's inside.
You open the tube, and there is a scroll inside. The scroll is... It's not like paper. It's paper, but it's not like your traditional, like, regular paper you'd find everywhere. There is a slight sheen to this paper. Similar, if you can cast your mind back to Laredo, when you saw the caravan, the slave caravan master reading out an indulgence. That one was purple and had like a strange sheen to it. This one is regular paper color, but there is an opalescent quality to the paper. And as you unfurl this thing, you see written on it. First of all, you unscroll it, and things fall out of it. Things that don't really make sense. There's like a rock, a small pouch of powder, some weird like stick thing. But as you unfurl the scroll itself, you see that it contains the directions, the words, the drawings required, all of the components required to cast a spell. A spell called Sleep's Sweet Path. The scroll goes on to detail what exactly this spell does, in that it transfers you bodily to Nod. Unlike in your dreams, where just your consciousness travels to Nod, you can transport yourself to Nod.
Mina looks at the scroll for a while and looks at the instructions. Given all the questions he has regarding his mother and traveling to and from Nod, he decides to take the bull by the horns, and he is going to read the scroll. But before he does that, he's going to pull out the paper that Wexy gave him a note on. Grab a piece of charcoal or pencil or something that he's got for his tailoring, and just scrawl out a quick note. If I go to Nod, get Korax, Seydlitz, and Antares. And he'll put that in his pocket in a way that it sticks out, that it can be seen. Grabs all his gear, sits on the bed, and reads the scroll.
I just want to take a moment. Patrons, we did a prep stream of this, and Snow was there. And for a moment, there was a hesitation in my chest where Norm would just not do the spell. And I was like, well, that was all my planning. Shit.
The temptation was real.
Yeah, I saw you hesitate for a moment. I was like, you son of a bitch. Don't you dare. Okay.
It's exposed that Mina can't read.
Yeah, it's like, no! He only knows his numbers. Okay, so you follow the directions on the paper. You have all the ingredients required. You know what sigils to draw, how to draw them, when to draw them, what words to say, when to say them. Now it's my turn. Korax, Antares, and Seydlitz. This is a GM intrusion for all of you. This is one for each of you.
Ooh.
Not a group one. The GM intrusion is the same for all of you. Will you allow this spell to pull you to Nod?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have never said no to GM intrusion yet. Let's not start now.
Okay.
Let's start now.
Let's start now.
Well,
Split the
if
party.
everybody's going to Nod, I guess he lets us follow
Okay.
along with them.
Chris breaking expectations left and right today.
So, all of you who accepted the GM intrusion, you gain 1 XP, and you gain an XP to give to one of your companions. So, Chris or Korax, who are you giving your free XP to?
Definitely not Mina, because why would he do this to us?
That's fair.
I'll give it to Seydlitz. Why not?
Yay.
Okay, Seydlitz, you have an extra one. Antares, who is your second XP going to?
I will give mine to Mina.
Okay, and
I'm gonna
Seydlitz.
punch him in the face.
That's fair.
And I'll complete the circle.
and-
Antares.
Okay, Antares, you have a bonus XP there.
Sweet.
Of course, no.
A fourth GM intrusion. This one is for Ina. If you accept this GM intrusion, normally, when you cast the spell, Sleep's Sweet Path, the danger of it, besides heading up bodily into Nod, is that you arrive on the steps of the palace of the King of Nod. However, if you accept this GM intrusion, you lose control of the spell, you lose concentration, and you are scattered somewhere in Nod. You have no idea where you will land, but you will land somewhere, not at the foot of the palace.
I mean, it does want to talk to the King of Nod, but he is always easily distracted. So I'm going to take the GM intrusion.
Okay. You have 1 XP, and who would you like to give your free XP to?
Because
Obviously not
Chris
Korax.
was so nice about it, I'm going to give it to Korax.
Okay.
Thanks, Mina.
Okay. Because we have 3 corruption bars, I'm just going to head and take one of them off the top of the table here and use it immediately. First corruption is the party is split. You're not all arrived at the same place at the same time.
Oh shit.
I would like everyone to just roll me in roll 20 just a D2. It's R/D2 or /R space D2. /R space D2. Okay, perfect. So Korax and Mina, you arrive together. Seydlitz and Antares, you arrive together. You had all ended your day, respectively. Seydlitz, you had headed home after having a strange conversation with an elderly man that you did ask his name. You found out he was Telbin.
I would like to retcon that, actually. At the end of the episode, I said I walked around the corner and I said I was going to go find Korax.
That's true. That's true. You did say that. Yeah, Antares, you had purchased a room at the tavern. Korax, where were you sleeping or headed to sleep?
Oh, that's a tough one. You can't just sleep in the palace. He was probably staying at the Temple of the Adherents.
Okay. Seydlitz, you begin making your way back to the last place you saw Korax. You get to the tavern. He is not there. You were informed that he left shortly after you and Mina did. You have no idea where he is. But as you set out to check one of the few places you've seen him be, either the castle's library or the Temple of the Adherents, you all feel this pull, right? It's like going fast downhill or going over a roller coaster. You feel that weird pull at like the back of your navel, as if your belly button is being tugged from the inside towards your spine, and your stomach flips. Whatever dreams you were having, Korax and Antares specifically, it's a strange sensation. It's that moment between dreams where you knew you started in one place, but you don't actually remember the transition to the new location in your dream, and everything feels foggy and like misty at the edges, like everything comes through that like sleep-like haze. Antares, you find yourself in a forest. You feel the sun beaming down on you. It feels warm. You see shapes all around you. They are vaguely humanoid. They seem to be ushering you towards them. You can almost hear them like calling out your name, as it were. But every time you take a step forward, they just seem just out of reach. If you could only lean in just a little bit more, perhaps you could grab whatever this thing is by the hand, but it always just seems a few inches out of reach. Seydlitz, you find yourself in the dark. You're not sure what happened. The last thing you remember was you were in the city streets. You were in Samora. You're fairly certain that you were in Samora. You were looking for someone, but it's all kind of muddy right now. But you know that maybe you wandered. Maybe the drink finally hit you. Maybe you wandered down a dark alley, but you feel the world has closed in on you. There are walls all around you. There is a sense of darkness around you. You feel something in your hand, something wooden and knotty. And you look down, and as you look down, your world is illuminated, and you see that in your hand is a torch. Was it there the whole time? You're not entirely sure. But you hold this torch aloft, and your path is illuminated before you. And you can see there is rocky outcroppings all around you. You seem to be in some sort of tunnel or cave, and you hold the torch above your head to try to see, what's in the direction in front of you and what's in the direction behind you, and possibly how did you get here. And you see an outline of a humanoid shape in the distance, sort of hurriedly beckoning you towards it. There is some level of recognition, some level of possible familiarity. You seem to know who this shadow is, though you can't place exactly who they are, but they seem to be beckoning towards you, like ushering you forward. They seem to point in the distance, calling you to come forward excitedly. And as you make your way through this tunnel, chasing whoever this person is who's calling you forward into the darkness, you extend your non-torch hand out to reach for theirs, and your hand touches another hand. And Terry's, you finally take that step forward and you grab the entity that is beckoning you forward into the warm light, and you feel a firm hand grasp around yours. And you pull yourself forward. Seydlitz, you pull yourself forward, and you're holding each other's hand. You're in a jungle. The trees around you are impossibly tall. They seem to stretch on forever. They don't block out the sun, but the sun is filtered and green, and you can see there are large, like purple and red plants whose petals are easily the size of your entire arm. Their stamen comes out as like these pointed needles that spray some sort of pollen out into the air. The blades of grass are blues and greens and yellows, and everything looks vibrant. You can hear animal calls, things you've never heard before. You hear grunts and groans and these chittering sounds that could be some sort of tree-bound marsupial. You hear birds calling back and forth to each other. The two of you have no idea where the hell you are. But here you are. What are you doing?
What the hell is going on? We know we're dreaming.
At this moment, you do not. You never
Okay.
know when you're in a dream.
Yeah. What is going on?
Well, first, let go of my hand, please.
You let go of my hand. And she pulls her hand away. You grab
Well,
me.
this is one of the more awkward times we've run into each other.
Yeah. Okay. What? You don't seem that concerned. And she looks around.
Is the
Does she
woods?
still have everything on her from last time she remembers?
That depends, G. Does Antares dream of herself as the warrior favored? Or does she dream of herself in her new dress-wearing form?
She would probably be in her current form. But whatever outfit she's wearing, her sword is definitely there.
Then you are in your new outfit with a sword.
Okay. And she like pats herself down.
Oh crap!
I was in my room in the tavern, and then I'm here. Don't you think this is a little weird? Seydlitz.
Uh, no. Solid question though. At this moment you appear the age you normally are.
All right. I had to check that with the dream.
Yeah. That was a good question. Good question.
All right. Sorry, Chi, I missed that. I was like, wait a minute.
No, she pats herself down, and she's like, "Last thing I remember, I was in my room at the tavern, and now I'm here. Seydlitz, what's going on?"
Well, last thing I remember, I was on the street trying to find Korax.
What? Why?
Telbin's in the city.
Okay. Shit. Is that good or bad?
I don't know. But apparently Korax knows him, and apparently he is, from what we know, he wanders around with godlings all the time, so...
And Mina's sister.
And that's why I was concerned. But I think that we'll have to set aside for now. Do I still have the torch?
You do, yeah.
Do you think they're here too?
Let's just assume this was an act of some divine inner means, so let's just assume yes.
Korax, maybe? Wanting us to sort our shit out? As you so put it?
Always blame Korak. That's my go-to.
Well, I think the first thing we should do is figure out where we are.
Yeah, can we get to higher ground? Is there... we can't... There's nothing through the trees other than more trees, right?
Yeah, you are in a dense jungle, is what it seems. As you stand here, the the oppressive heat of the jungle sort of takes over. Like you at first you didn't realize it, but now you can like feel the air, right? It's that thick, humid air. You can feel a drop of sweat sort of bead down your temple and roll towards your chin.
How thick are these trees?
Yeah, they
It's
Like
climbable?
how tall?
they seem impossibly tall. They are thick enough to climb. You could climb them like by hand, or you could do that. I forget what the heck it was, but it's in Mulan, which takes the rope and sort of shimmies your way up. You can do one of those things, or if you have like pythons or some sort of climbing mechanism, you can climb it that way. But they are
they
are climbable.
I was thinking Emperor's New Groove, where they go back to back and they're like walking feet up.
up the cliff
of the chasm.
I believe Seydlitz has climbing gear of some kind.
He also has climbing skill.
Yeah. So if you'd like to climb the tree, roll me speed difficulty 4. Climbing will help.
Well, it's climbing is a roll on its own, so
Yeah, so then roll climbing difficulty 4.
all right. Starting off with the best rolls today.
Nailing
Yeah.
it.
Can I try climbing even though
yeah,
I don't have
Yep.
skill?
It'll be a difficulty 4 speed roll.
Speed. Difficult. Nope. God
Outstanding.
damn it.
Yeah, you both see the forest for the trees. And you wrap your arms around these trees and try to shimmy your way up these things. However, what looked to be like fibrous trees, you begin to climb and it feels very smooth, right? These feel like almost metallic tubes. It becomes increasingly difficult to actually scale these things, despite looking like fibrous bark covered trees. The foliage overhead is dense. However, the trees are not like so close together that it's difficult to walk. You're on dirt ground right now. It's not like overgrown here. You could walk in any direction. You just have no idea what direction to go in.
Can we tell? You said the sun is shining. Can we tell where it's coming from? Like, so we can discern kind of direction, like east west.
It seems to be coming from directly overhead, as if whatever time it is here, it is noon.
Okay.
Well, I guess pick a direction.
She just
We don't know where we are, so we can't get any more lost than we already are.
yeah. She's just gonna nod to the left and straight.
Okay.
Let's go.
Roll me a difficulty 5 intellect task.
Is that
Both of
something
us?
different?
Whoever is guiding the two of you. Whoever's
Well,
leading.
I have navigation, so
Okay. Yeah, roll me a difficulty 5 navigation.
My rolls suck. So yeah.
Okay. You head off straight.
It's like the Kraken all over again.
I know. Right?
You guys head off in a generally straight direction. Meanwhile, the camera again cuts. We see
Sorry, misclick.
No, you're fine. We see. I love this. I couldn't wait for this one. We see a young man, flaming red hair, replete in a vested jerkin, a series of books strapped to his belt, a hat perhaps festooned upon his head, and we see Korax moving through underbrush, seemingly in some similar yet different jungle. He's moving things aside, and he pulls a curtain of vines away to reveal a cave. In this cave, you see an entryway in here. There's a bunch of like rune markings all around, and a series of diamond-shaped flagstones on the floor, like almost like a tile. Each of which has some sort of either like a glyph or like an iconograph on it, or like an animal symbol. we see Korax unstrap this book from his belt and sort of cast his hand up, and the pages flutter back and forth. And you can't make out the text in here. Everything seems blurry. But you see Korax reading something, and he steps on one of the tiles, looks down, nothing happens, reads another line of text, steps on a different tile, like two spaces diagonally to the left, and you see him do this back and forth, carefully choosing which of the tiles to step on, making it through whatever that was, whatever that dance was. He ascends, he wanders deeper into this cave. We see there is an area that there is a wooden crank that he wrenches backwards, and as he does, a series of 24 javelins that were sticking out of the wall begin to slowly retract back into place, upon one of which hangs the skeletal corpse of the last person to spelunk this cave, finally locking them into place. He makes it past whatever this is, and into the final chamber of the room. It is a large circular antechamber, in the center of which is a stone pedestal. A hole in the top of the cavern above shoots a sunbeam of light down onto this. The pedestal sits atop an island surrounded by this green, bubbling, acrid, smoky water. We cut to fields of combat. We cut to a hero for all intents and purposes, defending what we cannot be sure, from whom we also cannot be sure. What we can see is Mina's best version of himself. We see Mina, spear and shield in hand, moves we've never seen before. One arm inside the pommel holders of the shield. The spear spinning like a baton overhead. He grabs by the haft of it, chokes up on it, spins it out. We see 4 or 5 of these faceless enemies be scattered up and over their companions. We see the shield thrown out across. It bounces off 2 of them, reflects back to him. He catches this thing, smashes the spear onto the shield. A shockwave erupts. People fly backwards. The people he is defending, these other formless shapes. There's a city wall seemingly behind them. There are cheers coming from the tops of the walls. Cheers from the huddled masses that he is defending, as he cleaves his way through this horde, possibly Nefar. We don't know what they are. Mina reaches back, grabs the spear, and with full force throws this thing through the crowd. We see it hit the first person, pierce through their clavicle, hits, spears several more of them, and we cut back to a cavern where Korax has crossed whatever the acrid water was and stands hovering over the pedestal. On the pedestal is a mask, a full-face mask. Nothing to bind it to your face, but on it you see several sigils carved around the outside edge of this thing. The rings around the eyes, like where you would put makeup on, are lined in gold. There is a small slit where the mouth is, 2 small holes to breathe from in the nose. It is made out of a material that you have no idea what this could be. It doesn't feel like metal, it doesn't feel like porcelain, it doesn't feel like a stone, it doesn't feel like a wood. This is some otherworldly, ethereal metal. The inside has an opalescent sheen that shines like pearls. And from it, you can just sense divine power emanating from this thing. And as you reach out to grab the treasure you have so longed for, from the back of the cavern, as if you possibly have triggered a trap that you did not see, a spear juts by Korax's head, and jams into the back wall. You look, and where your hand was about to reach out and grab the mask, there is nothing else, but your hand is still outstretched, and you see Mina before you in a stance in which he just threw a spear at you. Mina, the fog clears from your eyes, and you see that whatever crowd you are fighting is no longer there. Instead, is Korax. Confused, hand outstretched, and just behind him, sticking into a tree, is your spear. About 4 inches to the left of his head. What are the two of you doing?
Does this feel like a dream, Mike, up until this point?
You know, I'll give you the same answer I gave G. You don't know when you're dreaming. Everything feels real in a dream until you wake up and realize it wasn't.
This feels.
Wait.
Go for it.
No, you're right.
This feels vaguely familiar for Korax. Like finding cool things, and that's what every nerd dreams of. And he just looks up and just shakes his head, dreaming of Mina. He mumbles to himself.
Yeah, Mina just looks at him and says, "You're not the king of Nod. That spell didn't work. Are we in Nod at least?"
Are you
Mina,
asking
have
me
you
or
done-
Chris?
Chris,
Okay.
correct.
Mina, have you done something stupid? And Terry said, "Don't do something stupid." What have you done?
I didn't do anything stupid. I met an old guy. I helped him with his cart. He gave me a scroll that would take me to Nod. I assume he gave you one because you're here too. So
No.
maybe we both did something stupid.
Be careful of what you take from a tinker. You never know. Don't just cast spells, Mina.
But I had questions about my mum, and the obvious way to get those questions was to ask someone. And I don't know where my mum is, but I know where the King of Nod is. So
Sorry, you've brought us to Nod.
no, I brought me to Nod. I don't know how you got here.
Well, I don't ever choose to come to Nod. And he walks over to where Mina's spear is, tries to pull it out the tree. He's not strong enough for that.
It's a valid attempt.
Mina
I-
walks over and tugs it out without any effort.
I don't go to Nod, Mina. We've already had this discussion. This is not something people do. Not willingly.
But remember back in the inn, I told you my mum can come here and leave. So why wouldn't we come and ask the person that owns the place?
Why would you come and ask them?
Because I want answers.
Mina, you know the King of Nod is after us, right? We don't know why. Well, he's after us.
Mate, you're a good salesman. Maybe you can parlay some sort of peace treaty. Think how much that would impress the Queen.
I mean, you're not wrong. But this
See?
is not necessarily a good plan, Mina. If you're going to
Not
drag
so
people,
stupid.
you're going to drag people into Nod. Kind of warn them.
That wasn't me. I brought myself here. I don't know how you got here.
I didn't choose it. You're the only person I know that's crazy enough to bring other people to Nod, or willingly choose to go to Nod. People don't come here for a reason.
So if you're here, does that mean maybe Antares and Seydlitz are here?
I don't know what you did, Nimina. I don't know how many people you've brought. For all I know, you've brought the whole city. Or you
We'd
just brought the
probably
two of
see
us.
the whole city.
I've only just seen you. How big
Then
is Nod?
maybe it was just you, because you're a god and all.
That's true. I mean, I can try and help you here. How do I get home? That's step one, Mina. How am I going to get home? You said there's a way.
That's the easy part. So when I was trapped here before, my mum showed up and said, all you need to do is find an anchor back where your body is. So you just have to think of someone who is you're close with, you have a connection to.
Does it
near
have to
your
be a
body.
someone?
I don't That's strange that you have a connection with something.
The books in the library.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
really care for the people in the city.
Sure. That might work.
Not enough for them to drag me home.
Like last time it was the thought of Arua. This time I'm pretty sure I know someone I can think of to drag me back.
And it's not a Rua.
No, it's better.
Good for you.
Should we go and find the King of Nod?
Well, you know where he lives.
Yes, I do. In a big palace.
Big poofy arms, you said?
Yep. But he might have taken my advice by now.
Let's hope.
Mina,
And
make me a difficulty 5, intelligence task. You get a bonus.
Traveler.
would puzzle solving help this at all?
Yeah, sure. What a random skill to have. Yeah, I'll take that. The fuck? Oh, Jesus. Puzzle solving. What a what a random skill to have. What a randomly
And the random skill works.
yeah, what a randomly specific skill. Okay, yeah. So you confidently head off into a similar jungle to what I described for Antares and Seydlitz. You pick a direction, and you know that must lead towards the King of Nod. Time passes. The camera cuts. Back to Antares and Seydlitz. Antares, Seydlitz, you are leading the two of you haphazardly through a jungle towards somewhere, destinations unknown. You can hear
Fuck.
you can hear something ahead. It sounds distant, right? You hear the clanging of metal, perhaps the banging of something. You hear like creaking and groaning of wood or something. And as you get closer, you hear screaming, shouting. You hear battle happening in front of you. You hear combat ensuing. And as you get closer, it becomes more and more clear that you aren't hearing combat. Combat would imply multiple participants in some sort of martial competition, as it were. This is not that. The noises you hear are not the sound of a sword hitting a sword or a sword hitting a shield. There seems to be no mounted defense here. You hear the sounds of wholesale slaughter. You hear the sounds of dozens of people being put to the sword. You smell fire. And Terry's, it's not long after you hear and smell all the same things. You're only a few steps behind him. Something is burning. The forest, perhaps, is on fire. You hear the screams and cries of people. You hear people shouting, run, people screaming, screams getting cut short, crying. You hear guttural incantations of words. You can smell the acrid smell of acid, perhaps? Seydlitz, you've smelled this kind of smell on animals, on creatures that could spit acid or had acid sacs. The acrid smell of reptilian. It burns your nostrils. You smell the fire of some of various kinds of wood erupting, and you hear a gleeful, throaty cackle. Probably the most disconcerting sound you've heard. You see shadows move in far too quickly. You see the shadows form some sort of like dark creature that's not entirely formless, but not entirely corporeal, rushing through things. And you can hear a blade sing across battle. And as you come through the forest into what you might think as a clearing at first, you see a village in front of you. The village looks like it could be part of the Nightlands. Looks like any number of the villages you may have passed. Looks like it could be Laredo. There's a commonality to this place, and you see, as you exit the forest into this clearing onto a cobblestone path, buildings on fire, homes, shops on fire. You see blood pooling, bodies piling, the bodies on fire, carts on fire, haystacks on fire, and you see 3 people almost taking pride in their work. You see a slightly muscular, mostly feminine form. That's where the cackle erupted from. There is a glee to their bloodshed. You see a thin, wafy man doing some sort of bibliomancy. You're not entirely sure what's happening. You do see a book. You do see very, very Coraxian, right? Hands moving, things are happening, words are being mumbled and chanted, and things happen when those words are mumbled and chanted. But, like the laugh that cuts the air, most disconcerting is the third person you see before you. Because you're fairly certain that person is 2 feet behind you. As the clearest person you see in this clearing is Antares. Replete in full battle regalia, sword at the hand, cutting through people. As if they were paper. There's a certain pride in her work, as this is her true purpose. What seems to be an innocent village. As this scene plays out over you, Antares, what do you do? You are 2 feet behind Seydlitz as you watch this unfold.
Yeah, she might even be a little further behind, because as soon as they step into this clearing and then she recognizes what's going on. So I have because she remembers every single like face that she's ever killed. So, yeah. So she recognizes where she is, even if G doesn't know, she knows. So I think she slows down and she's like stopped. And she's just frozen, and she's watching what's going on. And if Seydlitz looks back at her, I think she doesn't look like herself now. Now she looks like the favored, like the same face he saw in the wanted poster with the dark armor and like the red blood forehead, face claim, blood Reyna from the 100.
Well, luckily for you, Seydlitz looks back.
Yeah, so that's what he would see.
He
And
is
she's just
making
standing there, taking it all in.
Seydlitz,
Making sure that she is actually still back there.
you look back to confirm that something isn't playing tricks in your mind, and that your companion that you know that you have fought with is still behind you. You turn back and you do see Antares. What you see is Antares, chest heaving, sword drawn, blood dripping down the tip, hair matted to her face, blood caked to her neck and hair face. You see the Antares you just saw, cutting through an innocent village, standing behind you. Soaked in blood, the slight smile.
Yeah. You never see Antares smile, but now she's smiling. But she's not smiling with her eyes or anything like that, so. She looks like grotesquely content.
And now he looks back to others. So is the other Antares over there as well. So he's got two of them.
You turn
Basically.
back to the scene of violence before you, and there is just the two people you saw before. The muscular woman and the wafy man. The Antares that you saw in there is no longer there. She's clearly 2 feet behind you.
I think she walks forward. Towards him.
Seydlitz draws his longsword.
And then she walks past him. Like he's not even there.
Are you sure you want to do this?
She stops, but you don't. I don't think you know if she's actually stopping because she heard you. But she like pauses and she like looks around and she laughs.
Seydlitz is going to, if she's not acknowledging him, he's going to slip away.
Okay. You slip away.
He's going to slip away back into the woods and watch.
Okay. You disappear into the woods. It's not very hard to do. A few steps behind you is where the woods you were. The path leaves your feet, and you watch to see what happens. Antares, what happens?
She joins the other two and she walks up to whoever's closest and she gives them a big passionate kiss and they continue. It's like the people in the village, like they don't go away, like the numbers keep coming, right? Like the infinite loop. And they share a kiss and then they turn and then they continue killing people.
Seydlitz, you watch for what seems like seconds or hours. The sun overhead is always at noon. It never seems to move in any direction to indicate east or west or the passage of time. You have no concept of how long you've been standing here. However, the longer you stand here, your feet don't ache, your bones don't ache. It's not like you have to shift in an uncomfortable position. It's as if you've merely looked at here for the first time a few seconds ago. The scene replays on repeat over and over again. There is no end to the amount of people to be killed in this village. What do you do, Seydlitz?
So it's always on repeat.
It
Like
seems to it seems to not stop.
Seydlitz is going to sheath his sword and walk into the village towards Antares.
Okay, you do. Everything around you, everything you saw still happens around you. None of them interact with you. No one seems to notice you're there. And as if made of the same paper that Antares was cutting through, anyone that falls at your feet sort of dissipates into a mist, and then you see another person charge in.
I think as he gets close to her, as she just finished and she's like fighting in a way that he's never seen her fight before. Like he challenged her once to test her skills and they kind of just went at it for a little while, like a little sparring match. He's seeing moves and a technique that he's never seen before. And as he gets close, she spins and like slices someone's throat open, and then she comes down with her sword. She doesn't come at him, but she turns around and faces him like very suddenly. And then with her unarmed hand, she goes, shh. And then she stops.
as you stop, everything sort of slows to a halt. Another person sort of falls, dissipates into mist, but no one replaces them. You hear the cackle sort of drone out in the distance and fade away. You see the last shadowy spell work happen from the man, and that dissipates as well. And the village sort of fades. And as you look around to what you swore was a village on fire and a scene of horrific violence, you see the trees. You are still in the forest. You are still in the jungle. The sun is still high overhead. And Antares with her finger pressed to her lips, saying "shh," still looks the same. In her dress, sword drawn, eyes a little frantic. You're still in the jungle. None of that was real. What are the two of you doing?
Hello? What's wrong?
Seydlitz puts a hand on her shoulder. I should be asking you that.
We're just walking. I heard something up ahead, but I don't hear it anymore. Do you?
You didn't see any or if you remember any of that.
No. Why? What did you see?
From what I know about you and what I can guess, I'm assuming I saw your past.
Oh.
You, your two siblings, a ruined village being destroyed.
She doesn't say anything.
Seydlitz pulls her close and hugs her like you would his sister. Is this what's been haunting you?
She doesn't hug him back, so when he pulls her in, her like arms are at her side, so she's like up against him.
Is this what has been haunting you? You can tell me. I see you, Mina, and Korax like kids I never had.
It's always in there. It's fine. It's like Korik said, I have to accept who I am, right?
I don't think that's what he meant.
Well, that's what I did. I don't know what you saw, but we killed a lot of people. I killed a lot of people. You know? It's not just gonna go away, right?
No, it won't. But you dream it does, don't you?
No.
Say let's go. And just kind of looks to the ground with a long sigh.
I dream about it almost every night. Ever since I left.
Maybe that's what Korax was getting at.
I'm going to throw a fun little corruption bar here. Antares, you are released from this, what might be the first hug you've had in quite some time. You are released from the last human embrace you've had for months. The first run, rather. And you take a step back, like that awkward stumble back from a hug you weren't expecting. and you see Seydlitz in front of you, or you know it's Seydlitz in front of you, but what you see in front of you is a young man, probably early 20s, 21, 22, 23. You're not entirely sure how old he is, but you know he doesn't look like the grizzled Seydlitz you're used to. Even the voice sort of comes out with less gravitas. There's less of an older rumble to his voice. And for some reason, perhaps it is the hug, perhaps it is the words that were just spoken to you, perhaps it's your time on the mountainside. But somehow you know this is Seydlitz before Bennett went missing. This is the Seydlitz before everything changed. And as you look at him, his form stays the same. He is 20-something. He's your age. He has not noticed.
Yeah, she just looks him up and down. I feel like I'm just meeting the real you, Seydlitz.
What do you mean by that?
She smirks. I don't know. You carry a lot of shit with you. More than you did before. You carry your dad with you pretty close to your heart. I don't know what that's like. Well, I carry my mother with me in a different way. I can see now what you were like before that. And she offers her hand to him, like, for a shake.
You aren't gonna hit me, are you?
She grins. No, I'm not going to hit you.
He takes her hand.
Okay, and she'll shake his hand.
The scene cuts to another area of the jungle. Mina, you know where you are. You know where you have to go. You're leading the way. You have your spear in hand. You cut a swath through the undergrowth of the jungle. Korax muttering and mumbling behind you about his displeasure in being in a hot, sweaty jungle. And just in the general way of things. As you go deeper into the forest, into this jungle, directly where you know where the king's castle to be, begins to rain. Starts slow. You can hear it mostly above you in the canopy as the rain hits the dense banana leaves up top. And eventually they begin to slide off the leaves and rain down on you. At first it comes slow, and then it is coming in sheets. Soon you are slogging through mud. Becomes difficult to see. You have your heading, Mina, you know where you're going, you know how to navigate this place. You've been here before, you've found your way. So you trudge on. Korax, the shape of Mina is constantly in front of you, but it begins to rub out. There is a graying to it as the rain comes down heavy. You can barely see 10 feet in front of you, but you can always make out the shape of Mina. Constantly swishing back and forth with his spear, cutting through the undergrowth, leading you in a constant direction. But you feel something, Korax. You feel... You're not sure what it is. You feel like you are just... Your senses are sharpening. Like you're waking up. Which doesn't make any sense. There's no logical reason for that. You're walking. Of course you're awake. You're in a forest. It doesn't make any sense. Hell, Mina just told you he took you to Nod, so you're not asleep, you're here. but everything sort of gains a strange level of clarity. And then you see it. A void. A dark shape. At first, it appears behind one of the trees and sort of almost playfully peeks out at you. And you sense some sort of, I don't know, sinister or at least ulterior motive. But as soon as you try to look deeper at it, it's gone. And then you sense it again in front of you, at another tree. And again, at another tree. As you sort of turn around, trying to spot where this thing is, perhaps trying to reach out to it, trying to call out, it's mere moments before you spin yourself in a circle. You're sure you are facing the direction you were facing before, but you don't see Mina's shadow. You don't see the gray outline of Mina trudging forward, the sweeping of his spear. What you do see is darkness. It seems night has fallen, if that's possible, in the land of Nod. And in front of you, against the darkness, you see that shape. It is humanoid, standing before you. It seems darker than the night. And every move you make, it sort of mirrors, as if taunting you. And then it turns and runs into the jungle. Night stays. You are alone in a dark, foreboding, and strange jungle. What do you do, Corex?
He turns the opposite way to the way that thing ran and runs that way.
Okay. You immediately take off in the opposite direction, putting as much distance between you and whatever that was. And yet, it's in front of you. Maybe 10 feet in front of you, keeping pace with you, as if someone had switched your shadow. Instead of it's behind you, it's now in front of you. You try to turn, wrap around a tree, quick bank to the left. It's always in front of you. As if some unforeseen light source is casting a mocking shadow in front of you. You turn one more time around a tree to avoid this thing. It's gone. You've done it. You avoided it. You can feel the mud on your shoes. You can feel that sucking, cloying feeling as you trudge through a wet jungle. You can feel the water seeping into your cloak. And then you feel it. A cold, wet hand. The arm slides over your shoulder, and the hand wraps around your mouth. And another arm over your opposite shoulder extends forward, and you can see that one, and it is dark as pitch, and it points forward. And you know that whatever that creature is, has you. But it points forward. As it points, you see a bolt of lightning strike into the forest. A tree ablaze, casting the darkness aside. And in a clearing, you see Mina. Shield is out, spear is out. He is drenched to the bone, and he's fighting. He is fighting for his life. Mina, you are in a clearing. You are not sparring. There is rain pouring down in sheets in every direction, sideways. Mud is turned up around you, inches deep, as your boots sink in, as each blow against this opponent sends you back, skidding and sliding into the dirt. Corex, you look on and you see that he is fighting a woman of comparable skill with a spear. It's not Wexy. You can tell on the face of Mina that this is not a fight he wants to be in. That something about it is a fight that he would prefer to lose, if not escape entirely. Mina, you come to blows again and again with your sister. Lightning strikes around you. Trees are lit on fire. The mud sticks everywhere. The two of you, again and again, blows ring out against shield, against spear, against wooden pole. And nothing that you say stops her from coming at you. And as you assess what the hell is happening, what could possibly cause this, you see just over her shoulder, just in the distance, just outside the ring of muddy combat, a person, hooded, wreathed in shadow, possibly, hopefully controlling her, possibly egging her on. You have no idea who this person is. You've never seen them before. You know they have some part to play in this, but you haven't figured out what it is. And again, Rhea's spear rings off of your shield. You try to not use the tipped blade of yours as you choke up on the haft and hit her with the wooden side and drive her back. All the while, this person stands still and watches the fight, as if they had bet on a victor, or as if they had known the outcome all along. Corax, cold, wet hand around your mouth, arm still outstretched around your neck. You look around, trying to figure out what the hell is happening, who is Mina fighting, and how you can help. And you realize that despite this thing being wrapped around your neck, you can't seem to move. You are stuck here in this position as you stand facing Rhea's back, just over her shoulder, watching her again and again ring blows out at Mina. A final lightning strike hits, timed perfectly with one of Rhea's blows against Mina's shield. Mina sputters back through the mud. Rhea's gone. Two of you stand in a clearing, completely caked in mud. What are the two of you doing?
Mina's panting. He copped a couple of blows, so blood is mixing in with the rain, getting in his eyes. And he just looks at Corax and says, "Did you see them? Did you see who was watching?"
I was watching you. I want to go home. I don't like it here. Is that your sister? Is that the one we're worried about with lightning spears?
That was Rhea, but there was someone else watching us. Did you see someone else? Anyone?
I was held here by I don't know what, but I don't like it and I hate it and I've seen it enough.
They could still be out there.
I didn't see anyone else other than you, Rhea, and he slowly looks over his shoulder, whatever that was.
Was it always you
What always mean, Mina?
watching?
What, to now?
Yeah. Were you controlling her?
I don't even know her, Mina.
You could have stopped her at any time. I've seen you do it before. You could have
couldn't move.
stopped the blow.
If I could have moved, I could have tried.
We're not safe here. We need to get to the palace.
Yeah, this is why people don't come to Nod, Mina.
Point taken. Let's go.
Right, let's get out of here.
And Mina just breaks into a run.
Oh shit.
Does Korax run to follow?
He tries.
Okay.
He tries his best.
Mina, you holster your weapons, and despite the cloying mud, you break into a run, leaving the clearing behind. Korax on your tail. You burst out of the clearing and back into the jungle proper. You have your heading, you know where you're going, and you run. You run, and as you run, the rain stops. The torrential downpour stops. You can feel the water beating off of your hair. You can feel the water beating down your arms and back, and you're running as fast as you possibly can. And you feel your clothes becoming drier and drier. You can feel the humidity of the jungle rising up again. And you can feel something. You're not sure what it is. It's a sense of familiarity. It is the feeling you had the last time you encountered your mother Ariel here. It's the feeling you had right before you met that little girl. It's the feeling you had right before Korax showed up. There's someone else here. And as this mulls through your brain, perhaps the synapses fire to slow down, but not fast enough as the thoughts sort of flood into your brain, and Korax barrels behind you, and the two of you erupt into a clearing. And there you see Antares and Seydlitz. They are standing awkwardly close together, exchanging a handshake. The ground is not muddy, they are not wet. There's no signs or indications of any sort of torrential rain at this part of the jungle. You're fairly certain that they're real. And that they're here.
Do we see them?
Yeah. You see Mina panting run out of the jungle. And a few seconds later, Korax, nearly asthmatic, running after him.
And she points.
They slow to a
"Look."
stop.
Seriously?
Do you think
Run.
they're the real or another illusion?
Hey, she shouts out to them.
Mina skids to a halt. Looks over. Are you here too?
She nods.
Where is here exactly?
You
Tell them,
okay,
Mina.
Korax?
Where did you bring us, Mina? You tell them. Can we not run so much?
I
Where are you
didn't
running?
bring us. I brought me, but I think we're in Nod. Some
What?
old guy gave me a scroll that brought me here.
She glances at Seydlitz. What?
Oh no. Can say let's put 2 and 2 together with some old guy with weird objects.
Yeah. It's a feasible
It
logic.
said weird old guy happened to have a cart.
Yeah, I helped him. He was trying to drag it, hit a pothole, got stuck. I helped him out. He gave me a tube. It had a spell in it that took me to Nod. And I cast it. Is that the word? Korax, casting a spell?
Yep, that's about right.
I ran into the same old guy. Did you perchance maybe think about did you perchance maybe catch his name?
I introduced myself, but he didn't offer me a name. I'm not going to presume to know anyone's reasons for keeping their name their own.
Names are important. Don't just give your name.
Yes. And his name was Telbin.
Well, that's good.
Is it? She looks at Korax. What does that mean?
It means Talbin's in Samora.
And that's good. he sent us here.
No, Mina. That was you.
What did he tell you, Mina?
He didn't say anything. He just said, "Thank you for helping me." More creepy old guy stuff, and here, have this.
You told us you
So-
wanted to return to Nod, and then some random guy just happened to give you a scroll to send you to the place where you exactly wanted to go.
Well, I needed answers, and this was the easiest way to get those answers. I didn't know you guys were coming. He didn't say anything about that. The
We
spell
didn't
scroll
get
didn't say
told.
anything about that.
We just showed up here.
Did he
Didn't
give you a
cast a spell?
Did he give you something too, Seydlitz?
Yeah, a book.
Don't
Did
read
you
it.
cast a spell? Did you put everyone in Nod? No? Oh, just Mina.
Kind of.
Seydlitz pulls out the white cap symbol journal. Is like, this is what he gave me. And stows it back.
Don't read it. We'll probably end up in the depths.
Honestly, that makes me want to read it more.
Okay, please do not read the book right now.
You do that when I'm not here. Thanks.
So he gave you this he gave you both something that you both really wanted in that moment.
He does.
According to Korax, Telbit is a very interesting character.
He's weird. But he sell you what you want. Good salesman.
I didn't buy it. He gave it to me.
I think he's the god of salesmen.
Did you do something for him?
Yeah, I helped him pull his cart out of the pothole.
So he paid you for your services.
And she looks at Korax, and he gave you one of the things that you really wanted as well.
Yeah, way out of Dawnsfall.
No, the book.
Oh, I took the book.
You think he just let you take the book? Or sorry, you think he didn't know you took the book?
Maybe. You probably find out I took it, but
He probably had it sitting out specifically for you. And then she gestures at the other two guys. If that's what just happened there, who's to say he just didn't let you think you stole the book? Right. So how do we get out of here? Are you guys okay? You look like crap.
no, Mina made me run.
You're all covered in mud
Mina.
and you're all wet.
Yeah, Mina.
Yeah, there was a storm with lightning and stuff.
Okay.
Forex just
But-
looks at Mina.
And we're here to see the king. So the longer we're here, the more danger we're in. We should get going.
Do we know the King of Nod is a god?
You have no idea. You just know that there's a king of Nod.
Yeah. But like Mina told us that he had Nimbai, right?
Yeah.
Nimbus. He had like multiple
Yeah.
Nimbuses.
Yeah.
He's got quite the many nimbuses.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that we can
Nimbai.
denote from that he is a god.
I mean, you
Or
can
at least a
you
fledgling
can
god.
denote whatever you want. The slave master cast an indulgence, and he also had nimbuses. So
Right.
perhaps the King of Nod has an artifact that grants him nimbuses, that grants him some fragment of divinity. You have no
Yeah.
idea.
Like following on from Dee's question in Zoom, does Seydlitz appear young to us?
He does not.
He
He
disappears.
appears normal
Grumpy
Seydlitz
old
to you.
Seydlitz.
Does he still appear young to me?
He does.
Okay.
Well, Mina knows the way.
Interesting.
He wants to go and see his friend. And that's how we get home. I don't want to be here because this place sucks. Thanks, Mina.
She nods. This isn't what I thought Nod would be. This isn't what you described to us, Mina.
Maybe the scroll did something different in the sense of how we're here. I don't know. Anyway, we are burning
Read it.
day moonlight. Let's go.
Sorry. Why would you cast a spell from a scroll and not read it?
I did read it. I read
So
the
then you should know what it
instructions.
does.
I
It
think
had a stick. It had a powder. It said it would bring me here, and it did.
I think him reading it was him casting it.
No, he would have had to do what it says.
I think I did. There was some tricky words in there.
Well, you did do what it said because we're here, but you didn't read what it does.
Yeah, I
Okay,
did.
well,
It said
it's
it would
fine.
bring me to Nod. And we're
okay,
here.
well, we can't do anything now. You guys are making me be the voice
Who's
of
the
reason
real
here,
wizard
and that's
now,
not a
huh?
good look for
Huh?
me.
Who
Let's
knows magic
go.
now?
Children behave.
We can't do anything about it now.
Let's go and see Mina's friend.
Yeah, Mina, come on. Do you know where to go?
Yeah,
He's
that's where we were headed when we bumped into you. What have you
Can we
been
not
doing
run?
here anyway?
When
We're
I-
running.
assuming we got sucked in with you when you cast that spell.
Yeah, last thing I remember, I was in my room at the tavern. And then I turn around, and then I'm in this jungle.
I think it was Telbin.
You didn't cast the spell. It was you.
He gave me the spell that went wrong.
And you made
All right,
game
whatever.
dust
We
that
all
went wrong.
acknowledge Mina did something stupid. Let's get going.
Agreed.
Stupid like a fox. And Mina just starts walking.
Jesus Christ.
Seydlitz conks him on the head for that.
You get a very a parental smack up the back of your head as you walk by Seydlitz. You lead in the direction you had been running in previously, and now that the four of you are collected, you trudge through the forest. Slowly, Korax and Mina, you dry off in the oppressive heat of this jungle, and eventually you make your way through, if there is a through to make it through, and you find yourself at a giant set of stairs. Mina, you recognize the stairs, although you don't recognize where you are. This is not the landscape that was previously outside the king's castle, but those are his stairs. And you can see that the stairs ascend like into the clouds. You see a massive stairway to heaven-esque staircase in front of you. And the four of you see this staircase in a massive, opulent castle way above. Not attached to anything. Just up there, just hovering. And you see there are three, well, there's a blotch of shapes at the top moving possibly towards you. What do the four of you do?
Mina just looks at the others and says, I think this is it. And starts heading up the stairs.
She looks at Korak. So you're going to be okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stairs, but worst case, Mina can carry me.
Or drag. Both work.
He's the god of knowledge, Mina. You got to
Yes.
carry him. And she starts taking
he's
two
the god
steps
of knowledge,
at a time.
not the god of stair climbing. As Seydlitz starts
See-
walking up the stairs, leaving them
Not the
behind.
god of physical activity.
He slowly trudges behind.
The four of you begin to ascend the staircase, and there's a strange feeling of vertigo, perhaps, like that strange, like I'm up too high a little bit, and it's like a dizzying effect, and the shapes that were at the top, easily a mile up, everything sort of shrinks rapidly. And the staircase that was immensely long is now only 15 feet long, and the things that were at the top of it are now right in your face. And Mina, you see a familiar face. You see the King of Nod, flanked by two giants. They are each 10 feet tall, bulbous gut hanging over their loincloth. Each of them have tusks protruding from their lower jaw, pointed ears, and green-blue skin as they flank the king. As soon as Korak steps onto the stairs, this shrinking thing happens, and the king throws both of his hands wide as you see him in his opulent regalia, although different this time. He's wearing like silvery blue hues and a white what do you call those? Not a tunic, but like a tabard. Wearing like a white tabard.
Bathrobe.
And he a bathrobe. And his cloak sort of blows in the wind, although there is no wind projecting any movement behind him. His arms throw wide and his sleeves drape down. His hair is sort of fluffed out in like a shoulder length situation, and you can see that around the sides it's been tied back into a ponytail behind that. His arms go wide and he says, "Welcome to my kingdom, the land of Nod and my castle." He motions to his giants as if you are to be impressed. "What do I owe the pleasure?"
Seydlitz stares at Mina.
Mina goes down on one knee and says, Your Majesty, we come with the idea of gaining knowledge.
Well, I have the world's most formidable library at my disposal.
Ooh.
Contains every piece of knowledge you could ever desire or imagine, quite literally.
Right.
Well, we're hoping that you might be able to inform us of this knowledge.
Interesting proposition.
I mean, I'll take the library.
Korax.
By all means, I would love to have you in my library. Don't make that face, Norm. Have we met before, young man?
Yeah, I don't know how time works here, but I would say a few months ago. I
Interesting.
was here, and that kind of brings me to the question. Then my mother appeared and showed me how to get back, and apparently that's not something that happens often.
Well, I assure you, it is quite common. Everyone ascends to my realm in their dreams. It is an everyday occurrence. Well, an every night occurrence. I guess, depending on, you could take a nap. It happens all the time. That's how you're here. You're all
I've
asleep.
never been here.
Well, I will say, as a GM to player, all of your dreams simultaneously take place in Nod. Whether you realize it or not, that's the implication. All of your dreams are here. This is the land of dreams. He says, that's how all of you are here. You're dreaming. This is a dream. One of the best dreams, as you have been introduced to myself. I assure you, that is a great honor. And all of you together at once. Shared dreaming. That's a talent.
Not choice.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if we're dreaming or some old guy gave me a scroll and I read it and I came here. And then these jokers showed up and we're all here.
He takes a step towards you on the stairs and says, "Of course you're dreaming, my boy. That would be ridiculous." And he places a hand on your shoulder. And you see his joyous face drop as he realizes that you are completely corporeal. And his eyes sort of narrow on you and he says, "I do apologize. You are not dreaming.
That's
Are
Still
you?"
true.
doesn't.
Well, I'm Mina Han, and I came here once before. Won't go into the details how. And it was similar to this where I was actually here. But now I'm wondering whether you actually knew I was really here or not. Because you didn't say much other than, and he reveals his nimbus. You pulled this out of me. And then you sent me on my way. I was trapped here for a while. Then my mum showed up, showed me how to get back. And everyone's telling me that that doesn't happen.
Interesting. Everyone is correct, I assure you. This does not happen. Unless, of course, you are all secretly members of the Guild of Sleep. In which case, I will kill you immediately and feed you to my giants. They will shit you out, and I will reanimate you as a dream, kill you again, and do it over and over again until I get bored.
I can honestly say that I am not.
Yeah, I'm not a member of
No.
that guild. They're a bunch of wackadoos.
No.
Right.
If I was a
Wanna
member,
be.
it's so secret, it's secret from me, even.
You have to keep secrets from him.
Does he tells
Yeah.
everyone everything?
Okay, well. Let me.
Sorry, Mike. You said that he put his hand on his shoulder and he realized, oh, he said you're not dreaming,
Yes.
meaning that we're actually here.
Yes.
So now
We're
what if
actually physically there.
we're
Yes.
actually physically there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's two ways. Fun fact, there's two ways to get to Nod. You can sleep, and your mind can project you here in dreams. You can also do some kind of things like take dream dust or whatever, and go here of your own will and have some more bodily autonomy, which is what Mina did previously. Or you can find a way to get here physically, which is the hardest and least recommended option, because you can die here. It's a real place. Also, King of Nod doesn't seem to be a huge fan of people just showing up in his kingdom.
Yeah.
Especially for the Guild of Sleep,
Um,
vis-a-vis the aforementioned shitting out of giants.
yes.
He looks to all of you, seeing Mina's nimbus above his head, and he reaches over to nothing, and you see him reach over and like twist something in the air, and where he twists, there forms like a wall sconce. There it is not attached to any wall, but he twists something, and you see the wall sconce light, and the remaining three nimbuses that are not showed all pop up. And he goes, "That is interesting. All of you have a spark of divinity."
Honestly, when I saw that appear, I thought there was going to be a trap door.
Why would I have a trap door in my stairs?
I don't know. It's a dreamland.
That seems extraneous. I wouldn't need to trap you in a trap door. I would just trap you here. Just not let you go home. It's very simple.
So you're saying that the only people that can come here are members of the Guild of Sleep?
No, I'm saying that mostly only people that are the members of the Guild of Sleep come here, unless you work for me in some capacity, or you're some sort of thieving scoundrel here to steal my things, which I hope you're not, because while not a fate shared with the Guild of Sleep, there is still a murderous and feeding of giants here. But you
How
seem to
about-
have come here before, and
Oh.
your mother, is she a member of the Guild of Sleep?
No, she was in the Samoran army.
Okay.
That's where they taught her how to come here and stuff.
Understand. Yeah.
And my sister came here at one point, and she came and got her and took her back as well. So,
Interesting. Who is your mother?
Arel
Hmm.
Han.
I don't recognize the name, but if I see her again, I will probably have to kill her and feed her to my giants.
I see
That
that you
doesn't
like
sound
killing people and
friendly.
feeding them to giants.
Well,
we can just leave. She grabs Mina by like the forearm. Mina.
technically speaking, you cannot.
No, I did it before. I know how to do it.
I would be impressed to see you try. I don't think all of you can leave. Perhaps you have I don't know what you're doing, but it's very interesting if you can just come and go as you please. By all means, come with me. I find all of you intriguing. Join me in my castle. It's great. And he turns and starts to walk up the stairs, assuming you will follow. And as he walks, the two giants stand where they are and don't follow him. They just watch you.
Go.
Mina follows.
The rest of you?
Yeah, she glances at Seydlitz and Korax.
I get the feeling that if we don't follow, we'll have to deal with these two.
Mm-hmm.
What would give
Well,
that?
When in nod, she says. as she
Yep.
walks up.
Korax just looks at Antares and starts to walk and just says out loud, "Hey, can I see that library?"
You all start to walk. As soon as Mina starts to walk up the stairs, the giants turn and thunder beside him. And all four of you walk up this short now flight of stairs, staring at the back of the King of Nod. And as soon as you say, Korax, can I see that library? You hear from beside you, my boy, do you know that you are more than just a spark of divinity? And the voice of the King of Nod is coming right near your left ear.
I've been told I'm pretty great.
Yes, you are a fledgling god. You're new. You're something I haven't seen before.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
It is pretty cool. I would like to add you to my collection. Would that be okay with you?
No.
I have a very sizable museum here where I store many rare things.
Well, you see, there's actually more than just me.
More gods than just you.
Yeah, there's 3 more.
Very
And they're even
interesting.
newer than me.
They're newer. So, okay. So there's 4 of you, 3 of which are newer, which means you're the first new god in quite some time. Which means
No.
you're even more rare than I had previously. Are you sure? I would have a nice cabinet picked out just for you.
If you want, I can do my best to get you one of the other 3.
How about this? Can I have you when you die?
I don't plan to do that, but sure.
Well, it's inevitable. Everyone dies. Well, almost everyone dies.
Will I get to peruse the rest of the library? Or will I just be stuck in a cabinet?
Oh no, you'll be stuck in a cabinet. You're on display. You're not just a roaming person.
Well, that doesn't really suit.
Well, you'll be dead. So,
So you're just going to keep my body?
yes, I'll suspend you in some sort of perpetual existence.
Better than going to soul rest.
These days it is. That place is going to the dogs. Quite literally. If I'm not mistaken. Anyway, enjoy. And you feel that presence of voice just leave as the doors of the castle are thrown open. And you see the grand foyer is huge, hugely opulent. There is a large spiral staircase that just like it's like a Nautilus staircase. It just goes and goes and goes and goes. Behind it is a waterfall, but not like a trickle of water coming out of a wall in like a mansion. It's an actual waterfall. There is fauna, flora. There are things around it. There's a cliff face, birds flying, and off to the left and right you see various wings of this place. One of which is an immensely enormous like mead hall style. There's a huge table that just goes on and on and on, and on it is every decadent morsel you could ever imagine. And Terry, this is more decadent than anything you've ever seen held by anyone of stature in Corso. This is more food than any of you have seen collectively in your entire life. If you took every meal you've ever seen, there's more food on this table than all the food you've seen combined in the 18 to 20-something years of your life. Or 30-something in the case of Seydlitz. And people are digging into this feast here. You see there are glass cases and strange like curio cabinets of things. You're not entirely sure what they are. Some of them contain people, like a museum. Rings a little bell for Korax here. You see curio cabinets with little gadgets and doodads and things and leather straps and spears and swords, and everything here is a unique collectible, it seems. At least to Korax. And the king strides into his entrance hall and he says, "Welcome to my palace. I assume this is the first time you all have been here. I don't recall you ever being here before. You go away. You're annoying." And the two giants thunder off to the door, and the door closes behind them as they guard the exit. He says, "This is the greatest entrance hall that has ever existed. These are some people I had known at one point in time. That guy sucks." And he points up and look, running around the entirety of this enormous area are statues that are easily like 20 feet tall in this place. And Korax, you recognize dozens of them. These are statues of the gods. You take particular notice of the one he says, "That guy sucks." It is the statue of Vericocho, the god of magic. And he has drawn a funny face on him with a mustache, and he's put a silly hat on top of the statue. An enormous, silly hat. And he bids you welcome to his kingdom of dreams. He says, "Now, what are you? What are you? And why are you here? Why did you seek me? And who is your mother? These are questions that I have for you. And you," and he points to Antares, "you look very unhappy to be here. Or is that just your usual countenance?"
A little bit of column. A little bit
I
of
think
column
it's her
B.
usual face.
Look, Mr. Your Majesty.
I like that. Mr. Your Majesty is a very interesting title. I've never been called that before, but I'll take it.
Well, yeah, I understand that you're not happy with our arrival here in the corporeal sense.
I'm very intrigued by it, to say the least.
Sure, yes, I can understand that. So I just don't want you to think that we're here to do you any harm.
I'm glad for your reassurances, because I assure you that if you were, I would kill you.
Yeah. Oh, yes, for sure.
Very messy.
Yeah.
Very inconvenient to clean.
So we would just
Terry's isn't big fan of royalty. It's a whole thing.
Why is that?
No reason. She gives Mina a pointed look. Oddly enough, this is the first time since they've all been reunited that she looks like she wants to hit him.
Excuse me if I interject, wise king. But it seems you want to know why we're here. The simple explanation, if anything, is one of us, and Seydlitz stares at Mina, has cast a spell of some sort that he thought would bring him here, and the rest of us got dragged in along with him.
Yeah. And I also thought that since Korax was here, and we're facing a war in Samora, that he might be able to negotiate terms for you not to get involved, or get involved on our side.
Why would I do that? Why would I do either of those things?
He's a really good negotiator.
No, why would I get involved in a war on either side? That doesn't seem like me.
Well,
That's ridiculous.
The last time I was here, you were insinuating that we had something of yours and you wanted it back.
Did I? I don't even remember who you are.
Mina, the king here probably sees so many dreamers come and go every single day. It's probably hard for him to remember every single interaction.
I mean,
I'm very
it does
sorry.
hurt a little.
You smell. And he looks at Antares. There's something wrong with you. What is that?
She kind of takes a step back. What?
Why do you smell?
Well, we've just been traipsing through this jungle for who knows how long.
That's not a good excuse. It's only you. Everyone else smells like normal meat. You smell different.
I don't know what to say.
Come here.
Gulp. she will cautiously step forward.
He leans over you, like towers almost. He's not that much taller than you, but like the feeling of him like over you, and he smells like towards the top of your head.
Did anyone ever tell you that's really rude and gross?
You reek of tiger. Has anyone ever told you that?
Oh.
Like
Back-
you lived your entire life with tigers. It's a strange smell, I know. I smell it. How do you just live with her, just knowing she smells like a tiger girl? Why do you smell like tigers?
I was she doesn't really seem like there's a reason to lie to this guy. I was raised by Nilumriel, the dragon.
That bitch.
Yeah.
That would make sense. She has tigers. I don't know if
No,
you
I-
all knew that, but she has tigers. There's several of them. They're white. They're very nice. Well, that explains that. Very strange smell. I'm just was curious. I think you can go back to your spot.
She just turns and walks back to where she was standing.
Great. He
She
reaches up and turns that knob again, and as he does, the sconce reappears, and all of your nimbuses go away. It was a little bright for my taste. Okay, so you smell, stay there. You are possibly a secret agent of sleep. I haven't ruled out killing you yet. You are a new god, which is very interesting to me. And you, older gentleman, what are you doing here?
I've already said what happened. I got dragged into this. I had no intention of coming here.
Interesting. Okay, so you're just here for the ride.
Apparently.
Okay, well,
We would just like to figure out the answer to our friend's questions here, and then we'll be on our way.
I'm
If
sorry,
you
what
could-
was your question? I wasn't listening to you.
Well,
Uh,
once you all figure out what, do you mind if I go have a seat over there and just take a put my feet up?
Of course, you're nearly elderly. And he like moves a hand, and a chair and an ottoman sort of slide into the room. And right to where you are, they position themselves. So you could just sit down and put your feet up in the exact same spot you're in.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. I live to
And
serve,
Seydlitz
apparently.
is gonna pull out that Whitecaps journal Telbin gave him and just open it and start
Okay.
reading it while they're figuring that out.
Yeah, you do so.
Mike,
Yes.
so as this gentleman has been sniffing Antares and threatening Mina,
Yep.
Corax was pretending to be looking at the statues. So he mostly had his back towards the King of Nod as he's rambling on. He wants to try and use his abilities to find knowledge to search the archives that are here for a way that they can leave.
Um,
I'm expecting this to be really freaking difficult.
You are wandering around the chamber. Is that what you're doing? You're
No,
looking
no.
around. Or you're just looking.
Yeah, so the way he did it with Seydlitz to try and find a place in the deeps, also the passage in the deeps, he wants to try and mentally work through what the tomes and stuff that are here to see if he can find a way, or at least find something that's here that he needs to go to find the information.
You look around this chamber, glancing at all the statues of the gods, glancing at the various items of opulence around here. and your mind casts a way to knowledge, to find a source of knowledge. And as you look around, your eyes roll past an area you have looked at before multiple times, and you see a corridor that was not there before. A hallway, maybe 10 feet deep, that leads to what you can clearly see as a library. Light glitters down from some sort of possible glass ceiling overhead, and you see rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of books down this hall in the library. Something tells you all of your information you could ever want would be found there.
I mean, Korax is cocky, but I don't think he's cocky enough just to walk away from the king.
Sure.
He makes a note of where that is, and just turns back to hear the king of Nod yammering on about something or other.
You turn back as he says, "I'm sorry, I wasn't listening." And he looks over at Mina.
Yeah, we're just hoping that you could shed some light on, why I've been able to come here in the past and leave in the past. I'm not an agent of sleep, so you can scratch that off. Any other reason that it seems to happen so often that I visit and leave, and it runs in my family?
Interesting. You said you've been here before,
Yes.
and we've spoken.
Briefly, you were very dismissive.
That makes sense. You are very insignificant.
Mm.
Except for him. He's interesting. I'm going to collect his bones.
He thinks so too.
Great. The interesting displays are the best ones. Why are you here? Not a question. I'm just trying to figure it out myself. Why you are here? And your lineage, your mother and your sister, they are all able to just come and go as they please.
To some extent, yes.
Interesting. How did you get back last time?
So my mother told me that I needed to find an anchor to return to my body, because they thought I was asleep, but I was really here. And what passed for weeks or months here was a few days. Yeah, and then I was told to think of an anchor back near my body, something that I was connected to, a strong connection, and I thought of that and returned.
Okay.
That's very aggressive.
She is.
That makes so much more sense. Not the aggressive part. I assumed she was raised with tigers. It comes with the territory. You weren't actually here. Well, you were here, but not. It's very confusing. I won't explain to you how the science works. You were dreaming. You were dreaming with full control of your dream. It's like a lucid dream, kind of, but not. It's slightly different. That makes a whole lot more sense. You're here now. I don't know if you understand the difference. Let me try to spell this out for you. When you dream, your dreams take place here. It's like a movie. You don't have those yet. It's like a thing where you dream and your dream exists here in a way, and you go into the dream tunnel and you're here, and then when you wake up, the dream sort of evaporates and goes back into your little brain. Sometimes you dream and you leave it. You just leave the dream, and then you find yourself wandering here. Very dangerous. Do not recommend for your tiny, frail bodies. Things could kill you here. It's very dangerous. That's why I have giants. Sometimes, typically, those little thieves that work with the queen, that shit, they sneak in physically, which is what you have done. Which is why there was threats of violence and killing you. Most people can't, or don't, or shouldn't physically come here. You're here now. If you die right now, you die forever. And no one will find your body back wherever you think it might be, because it's not. Your body's not there. If anyone were watching you when you got here, they would see you just, boop, disappear into nothingness. It'd be frightening for them, I would imagine. You're here now. Which is why I said you cannot leave. You can leave when I say you can. You should leave faster than everyone because you smell very bad. I hate that smell. The rest of you, however, can leave when I say, except for the god one. We made a deal, and I get him when he dies, and I'm not the god of trickery, and he's dead. But when he dies, I will take him and put him in my museum.
She looks at Korax. You made a deal? I'm assuming we didn't hear that conversation.
No. It was whispered to his ear.
Yeah. It's like, we just got here. How did you make a deal already?
He can keep my
Well,
body
it's
when
not a
I'm
bad
dead.
deal. When you're dead, you kind of don't need your body, so.
That's what I said.
It's that or
Well,
soul rest. I'd rather
So
be here.
what do you get out of it?
I'm sorry,
Me-
out of what?
I'm talking to Corax. What do you get out of the deal?
Well, I get to leave here, and hopefully, he's gonna let me look at his library. And Korax points to the corridor.
Of course, you can go to the library anytime you like.
I don't think that's a good idea.
It's free access for everybody.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not going to stop you. You guys can do pretty much everything you like.
great.
Except leave.
Korax turns and walks. towards the library.
Korax. She reaches out to grab him.
Do you
What?
let her grab you?
Oh, if she grabs his shoulder, what?
I don't think you should go.
I can leave here. He said I can.
I said he
You'll
could.
let me go home when I want.
Sure.
See? And
He
Korax
said-
just stares at Antares.
He says he's gonna. What did he say? He says he's gonna collect your bones.
When
I'm
he
dead.
dies,
What's
the rest of him too is skin and muscular
No
system.
offense, Mr. Your Majesty. But what's to stop him from doing it now?
Well, he's not dead. yet.
Korax puts his hand on Antares' hand on his shoulder and just taps it with his finger. It says, "We've got time.
We don't know.
I'm going to
what's
go look at the
coming.
library to start with."
We have things to do.
Exactly. Which is why I'm going to the library. And he just literally stares at her.
I will warn you that the librarian is disconcerting to look at, but I assure you, he's a fine gentleman. And if he gets ornery, just give him a carrot.
I got a bad feeling about this.
It'll be fine. You keep talking. I mean, he doesn't really want you near him, but learn about me and his friend. I'll be fine.
Yeah, she'll let him go.
He does a slight bow of the head and walks off to the library.
Korax, you walk down the hallway and into the largest library you could ever have imagined in your life. And standing at a circular desk with no entrance is a man in a what makes for a suit. You see that his hands are green, and his head is also green, and also a buffalo. It's the head of a buffalo standing there in a suit with a human body, and he just sort of shakes his mane and shoulders at you, and just watches you walk in.
Korax walks almost to the counter, pulls a face, says, "I'm free to look around, right?"
You're free to do whatever you want to do. Library.
Thank you. Korax just turns around, back facing towards the door, and he's going to try and find that book. The book on how to get out of here.
The book on how to get out of here. Interesting.
Mhm.
Such a thing would be secret, hard-kept knowledge.
I mean, a god of knowledge should be able to hopefully find that. You'd hope.
I need you to make me a difficulty 10 intelligence roll to find
Okay.
the secret book on how to come and go from the land of Nod.
Come and go. Perfect. I was going to even increase the difficulty so that it could be coming and going. Intelligence. Eager to learn things would help with that.
Okay, I'll take that.
Training instead that involves learning something new. It doesn't involve God, so that doesn't help me. Difficulty 10. I'm going to apply 2 effort to roll. This is going to allow me to apply my divine shifts. It doesn't. Let me redo that. Sorry about this.
No, you're good.
Difficulty 9. 2 effort to roll. 2 assets. Submit.
Holy shit!
I so want to spend an XP on this.
You have XP.
With a few times I don't want a GM intrusion. Yes, Mike, I'd like to spend an XP.
You can spend an
that,
XP.
please. There's no reroll button. Damn it.
Oh man, fucking
nine.
a one on library search.
You serious?
Yeah, he's spending an XP to reroll.
Oh my
What?
god, it's faded.
Oh my god! Oh,
All right, let's do it.
The dice have spoken.
here's what I'm gonna say.
I feel like that's broken.
You wander your way through the library,
No.
bent on searching for this forbidden tome. That is the last thing you remember, Corax. Mina and Terry's and the very relaxed Seydlitz. Whatever conversation is happening in Corax's absence, the king just starts smiling, a very big, wide, toothy smile. And his eyes twinkle. He's delighted. And he says, "Well, that was far sooner than I expected. Your friend is back." And he points to an ornate glass cabinet where you see Corax collected. And that is where we end this episode.
Son of a bitch!
Chris,
No!
what I will say for you, we'll discuss this. On a failed, this is straight from the book. On a failed roll, the browser becomes so wrapped up in the research that his mind empties and his body dies. All that the browser once knew becomes recorded in a book in the library of memory, titled with the former browser's name.
Jesus.
That double ones.
Oh man.
So Corax is dead.
We'll see. We'll see what happens next time on The Rise.
Go!
Continued in episode 2 of part 2 of this episode.
Jesus Christ.
Let's go around,
shit.
do our introductions so we can get out of here and talk about what the fuck just happened. If you are not already patrons like these fine folks, the link is down below in the description. Join that. Join us over at the $5 tier where you can have access to the after show we're about to shoot right after this for this show and all of the other shows we do for the last several years. You can collect that. And since Chris reminded me of it last episode, in the comments down below, let me know what you think is going to happen to Corax, for those of you watching on YouTube. But for now, we'll go around, do our outros, and get out of here. We'll start with Chris. Who are you? Where can we find you? Well, in a glass case. And what are you up to?
I'm Chris A.K. Necro. You can only find me in the Patreon one-shots. No longer the campaign, because Corax is dead.
Unsubscribe.
Well, we lost the best character.
Norm, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
We're so screwed.
Holy shit.
I'm Normal Snow. You can find me regretting life decisions in the Discord.
Outstanding. Matt, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm Matt or D. You'll find me wondering what the heck just happened on Mike's Discord and in the one-shots.
I couldn't have corruption barred that if I tried. That's too good. G, last but not least, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm G, your friendly neighborhood lightning invoker. You can find me on Twitter still at lightningspaz09. I am on Mastodon at lightning invoker if you so choose. And in the Discord, being the voice of reason. in all areas.
Oof. We will see what happens next time. Or we'll see what happens when a god dies. Who knows? Who knows? Tune in next month for this episode of The Rise, and we'll see you then. So from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.